Viene DJ Frankie contigo. Es correcto, número 8, el octavo año de Hispanic Heritage and Community. Y estamos con el Butcher Breakfast. Desayuno virtual, DJ Frankie contigo. ¡Huepa! ¡Vámonos, vámonos, vámonos! ¡Baila, baila, baila!
Hoy quisiera tener un corazón de bachata para yo ignorar la que se fue de mi casa. Corazón de vino y cuerdas que se añeja en mi guitarra. Trato de olvidar la pena que me dejó ese malvada, pero por más que bebo no puedo evitar. La veo en mi copa y en cada lugar. Trampa me ha jugado, el tonto fui yo. Corazón de bachata, traicionaste mi amor, pero por más que bebo no puedo evitar. La veo en mi copa y en cada lugar. Trampa me ha jugado, el tonto fui yo. Corazón de bachata.
Viene, baila, baila, baila. Buen provecho, mi gente. ¿Cómo están? DJ Frankie contigo. ¡Pra!
Antes de que digas nada, ya tus ojos me confirman todo. Es verdad lo que me dicen y para negarlo ya es muy tarde. Me cuidaba de personas como tú, pero al final ni modo. Soy humano y tengo mucho más defectos de lo que tú sabes. De mí te burlaste y sé que lo hiciste con gusto. Para eso eres experta, apunta si nunca te tiembla el pulso. Cuando hagas tu maleta no olvides llevar tu orgullo. Lo vas a necesitar para cuando quieras regresar. Ya no eres bienvenida aquí. Si tu amor fue una mentira, vete y sé feliz. No te preocupes por mí, que voy a estar mejor sin ti. Anda, ve, dile a la gente que yo te jodí, a que no quede mal aquí. Y está claro que perdiste cuando me perdiste.
Viene, levántate. Buen provecho, mi gente.
Cuando te conocí.
¡Levántate!
He intentado casi todo para convencerte. Mientras el mundo se derrumba todo aquí a mis pies. Mientras aprendo de esta soledad que desconozco, me vuelvo a preguntar si sobreviviré. Porque sin ti me queda la conciencia helado y vacío. Que sin ti me he dado cuenta, amor, que no renaceré. Porque yo he ido más allá del límite de la desolación. Mi cuerpo, mi mente, mi alma ya no tienen conexión. Y yo te juro que lo dejaría todo porque te quedaras. Mi credo, mi pasado, mi religión.
Buen provecho.
Después de todo estar rompiendo nuestros lazos y dejaste en pedazos este corazón. Mi piel también la dejaría. Mi nombre, mi fuerza, hasta mi propia vida. ¿Y qué más da perder si te llevaste todo mi fe que no dejaría? Duelen más tus cosas buenas cuando estás ausente. Yo sé que es demasiado tarde para remediar. No me queda bien valerme de 10,000 excusas cuando definitivamente sé que ahora te vas. Aunque te vuelva a repetir que estoy muriendo día a día, aunque también estés muriendo, tú no me perdonarás. Aunque sin ti haya llegado al límite de la desolación, mi cuerpo, mi mente, mi alma ya no tienen conexión.
Viene que nos vamos. Levántate. Seguimos con la música.
Apenas sale el sol y tú te vas corriendo. Sé que pensarás que esto me está doliendo. Yo no estoy pensando en lo que estás haciendo. Somos algo más y así nos queremos. Si conmigo te quedas o con otro tú te vas, no me importa un carajo porque sé que volverás. Si conmigo te quedas o con otro tú te vas, no me importa un carajo porque sé que volverás. Y si con otro...
Bachatita, bachata, bachata. Viene que nos vamos. Buen provecho. Levántate.
Amigo, crecimos juntos desde niños casi como hermanos. Por eso he desistido de su amor y hoy te extiendo mi mano. Sabes, yo siempre he sabido que tú eres amigo sincero. Fuiste el primero, yo el segundo y hay un tercero.
Bachatita.
Y aunque nos arranque hasta el alma, es mejor la verdad. Ay, no con los dos solo por ego, por vanidad. Ay, se burló de mí, su cara de niña buena. Jugó con los dos y dejó el dolor, dolor que corre por mis venas. Se burló de mí, de mi corazón, y hoy andamos como alma en pena. Jugó con los dos y aquí nos dejó, a los dos con la misma condena.
Viene que nos vamos, nos vamos, nos vamos, nos vamos, nos vamos. Ave María. Viene y baila.
Pa' que esto no pare, baila, baila, baila. Tengo que besarte aunque esto no pare, baila, baila, baila. Ponle música pa' que esto no pare, baila, baila, baila. Tengo que besarte aunque esto no pare. Ella casi ni sale, la traición no el amor. Tiene par de amistades, pero no quiere relación. ¿Dónde va sobresale? En sus ojos se ve la ilusión. Pero llamo a su amiga que se olvide que esta es su canción. Y baila, baila, baila. Ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, baila, baila. Tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Baila, baila, baila. Ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, baila, baila. Tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Mami, llega el código con el perreo sólido. Esta te la dedico pa' que suelte el estrés. Acércate al perímetro y rompe los termómetros. Si tú abres la vía, te voy a pegar el tren. Me gusta cómo lo haces, cuando te atreves. Tenía escondida esa actitud. Ey. Tu piquete me gusta, le da como es. Con la chispa al aire, botella, mujer. Grábate un video y que lo vea tu ex. ¿Y qué fue? Sube. Tu piquete me gusta, le da como es. Con la chispa al aire, botella, mujer. Grábate un video y que lo vea tu ex. ¿Y qué fue? Me gusta como baila porque quiero olvidar. Ponle reggaetón pa' que la vea sudar. Sexy, sube su videito a IG. Entra al club, no le hace falta el ID. Ya no deja que la hieran. Se va en busca de sus amigas que la noche es pasajera. Pa' bailar usa ropa ligera. La atención llama y eso que ni se esmera. Su flow es natural, le gusta inventar.
más conmigo, que soy su preferido. Y ella la mía, no la voy a cambiar. Su flow es natural, le gusta inventar. Más conmigo, que soy su preferido. Y ella la mía, no la voy a cambiar. De día y de noche me llama.
Night and day.
Que quiere de nuevo en mi cama. No fue suficiente una vez. Ahora de día y de noche reclama.
Well, in from the thing them call chicks is for kids and we don't play games. Straight business, hey me girl, tiny funny track. Hear what me saying? Balvin, tell them again.
Buscaron más cara de que fue. Ya me tienes contra la pared. Pide una vez, pide dos, pide tres. Otra vez llegamos hasta 10. Buscaron más cara de que fue. Ya me tienes contra la pared. Pide una vez, pide dos, pide tres. Otra vez llegamos hasta 10.
She come and set fire to the thing when me give her one time. She loving it so much she have it pants feed all. I them a meet and me give her 2 times. That's how when me start see the girl I get wild. 3 times me give her the wickedest one. She loving that style and she love the profile. 4 times me give her that grind. Say well below colors in her mind. Fuego, say the girl about fuego. Anytime she want me, fi set it on fuego. Say the girl about fuego. Girl said she just can't forget it.
De día y de noche me llama. Que quiere de nuevo en mi cama. No fue suficiente una vez. Ahora de día y de noche reclama.
Un clásico, pero bien chévere. Rico.
Corazón, corazón, que late corazón, corazón, que late corazón, corazón, que late corazón, 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 que late corazón, corazón, que late corazón, corazón, que late corazón, 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 que late el corazón de una manera, por esa nena, y viene ese coro. Que late el corazón de una manera, por esa nena, corazón.
Good morning, buenos dias, welcome, bienvenidos. My name is Maritza Vega, Vice President of the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York. This is the 8th annual community breakfast. We celebrate 10 successful years of Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York. All of this is possible thanks to the commitment and hard work of the HHC Volunteer Run Board, who we will introduce later on in the program. And I'd like to invite Brother Felipe Martinez to do an invocation. In addition to the invocation, Felipe would like to ask everyone for a moment of silence for all the lives lost during the COVID-19.
Good morning. Buenos dias. As we begin our celebration, let us begin by turning to our source of faith, Esperanza, hope, and new life. We want to begin this day by acknowledging that it has been a very difficult year due to the pandemic, a pandemic that has drastically changed our lives, a pandemic that perhaps has taken some of our beloved tíos, tías, parents, friends, neighbors, abuelitos, or siblings. And so let us pause for a moment of prayer as we light these candles in their memories. And so, as we remember those lives that have been taken from us, perhaps too soon, let us pray in the words of the prophet Isaiah. Come back to me with all your heart. Don't let fear keep us apart. Trees do bend, though straight and tall, so must we to others call. Long have I waited for your coming home to me, and living deeply our new love. The wilderness will lead you to your heart, where I will speak. Integrity and justice with tenderness you shall know. Long have I waited for your coming home to me, and living deeply our new life. You shall sleep secure with peace. Tenderness will be your joy. Bienvenido a mi casa, donde viviremos y te cuidaré. Bienvenido a mi casa, donde viviremos y And so we pray. God of all peoples, of all nations, today we remember June 19, 1865. On this day of freedom, we celebrate triumphantly with all people of goodwill, that we might walk arm in arm towards justice and freedom for all. Breathe into us your eternal breath, that we may never tire of ensuring a flourishing life for all people, but most especially for those brothers and sisters whose growth has been stifled by the trauma of being enslaved. O God, we know and have seen your goodness, and because of it, we cling to the hope that unity and liberation for all is within our grasp. Continue to show your goodness, that we may have the strength to advance your kingdom with humility and grace. And we ask this prayer through the power of God's holy name, Christ our Lord. Amen. And so, as we continue our celebration of life, our celebration of all God's gifts and goodness and graces to us, let us continue to celebrate our Hispanic heritage.
I'd like to take this opportunity to excuse our leader and our president, Esmeralda Sierra. This past week, she experienced a loss in her family, her dear brother, Raul. And we'd like to extend our sincere condolences on behalf of the entire board of directors and the community, our sincere condolences.
Our theme this year is Hope and Esperanza, fitting considering what we've experienced as a challenging year, and with that comes resilience, hope, and esperanza. Every year, we try to find ways to better serve our community. With the COVID quarantine, we've had the opportunity to partner with other organizations to sponsor food, PPE giveaways. The struggle is real. Our families lost jobs, family members, shelter, and no, it hasn't been easy, but Hope Esperanza always has found its way. The sacrifice we all share, staying home, wearing our masks, and keeping away from family and friends, the sacrifices has changed the way we traditionally do things. The virtual breakfast is a consequence of the change. I know we'd rather see each other and be together and share a meal. Sometimes we like to receive before we give, but now it is time to change and give before we receive. If you want to change the world, you must be your best self in the darkest moments and never give up. Look beyond your need and become involved in your community outside of your comfort zone. Just because things are not happening the way you want them to doesn't mean that they're not happening. One day we will look back and wonder what you did for your world. How did you make a difference? I hope you choose to be involved and participate and become a mentor. Help your neighbor. Go visit the seniors at the nursing home. Buy food for the ones in need. Make a difference. Each board member of HHE is making a difference for the community and the many families, because when give with your heart, it always comes back to you with many, many blessings. In the spirit, we ask for your continued support for the Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute, a place that is destined to change through the many programs in cultural arts. We need to support our community. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the presentation today. Congratulations to all the awardees. Thank you to all our sponsors, because with you In our corner, and your support, we continue to make a difference in our community.
Morning, I'm Congressman Brian Higgins, and I welcome you to the 8th Annual Hispanic Heritage Community Breakfast, sponsored by the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York. I'm honored to have been asked to provide this greeting. Our friends at the Council are celebrating 10 years of devoted service to the Western New York community. The work performed by the Council and its members is seen and felt each day throughout the community. Your participation today helps the organization in achieving its goals. I want to commend the Council President, Esmeralda Sierra, and my good friend, President Emeritus Kaz Rodriguez, for arranging this event, and I want to offer you my best wishes for a joyous celebration today.
Greetings and good days to you. I want to say congratulations to the Hispanic Heritage Council on their 10-year anniversary, and thank you for all the work that you do amongst Latinos throughout Erie County. Again, congratulations and much success to you.
Whereas during Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate the vibrant Hispanic American spirit that influences our nation's art, music, food, and faith. We also celebrate the practices of commitment to family, love, and country, and respect for others.
The project aims to tell the story of the past, present, and future of the Hispanic community in Western New York.
Pictures now coming in from Puerto Rico after taking a direct hit. Hurricane Maria slamming into the island, and as you heard, one official saying the island is destroyed.
The work of the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York is fully dependent on the continued and impassioned support of our community collaborations.
The Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York is dedicated to preserving and celebrating the many cultures of Latin American countries whose origins are colored by our African ancestors and their traditions. The Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York proudly celebrates President Biden's proclamation recognizing Juneteenth as a federal holiday to be observed annually on June the 19th. thus commemorating the end of slavery in the United States of America. As we continue to celebrate our Esperanza, our hope, we appreciate the recognition of the contribution of minority cultures to the American dream.
Hola everybody!
Namaste!
Buenos días y bienvenidos!
We put together a wonderful dance medley in honor of Hispanic heritage and hope.
¿Quién eres tú? ¿Dónde has estado? He removido cielo y tierra y no te encontré. Y llegas hoy tan de repente y das sentido a toda mi vida con tu querer.
ना मैं समझा ना मैं जाना जो भी तुमने मुझसे कहा है सेन्योरिटा, मगर फिर भी ना जाने क्यों मुझे सुन के अच्छा लगा है señorita.
No desvíes la mirada, quédate cerca de mí.
मुझको बाहों में तुम घेरो, समझी ना señorita. चाहत के दो पल भी मिल पाए दुनिया में ये भी कम है क्या? दो पल को दो आओ खो जाए, भूले हम होता हम है क्या? señorita, सुनो सुनो señorita कहते हैं हम क्या?
साड़ी के फॉल सा कभी मैच किया रे, कभी छोड़ दिया दिल, कभी कैच किया रे। साड़ी के फॉल सा कभी मैच किया रे, कभी छोड़ दिया दिल, कभी कैच किया रे। टच करके टच करके टच करके टच करके कहाँ चल दी बच करके टच करके टच करके टच करके दिल से दिल अटैच किया रे, कभी छोड़ दिया दिल, कभी कैच किया रे। साड़ी के फॉल सा कभी मैच किया रे, कभी छोड़ दिया दिल, कभी कैच किया रे।
आज फिर
As we continue to enjoy our breakfast celebration, the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York acknowledges that we are on the land of indigenous people. Traditionally, these lands were home to many nations, including the Neutral, Erie, Wenro, Huron, and other peoples. Today, these lands are still regarded as being the traditional homelands of the Seneca and other Haudenosaunee peoples. We respect the treaty rights of the Six Nations, the Seneca, Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Tuscarora, and the obligation of the United States and New York governments and American society to adhere to them.
This dance we're going to be performing and showing you is what we call the smoke dance. This is one of our newer dances. It's derived from the old war dance. Once was only done by the men, but now as time went on, the women has jumped in and sped up the tempo, and that's what we call the smoke dance. Okay, what we're about to see and perform here is what we call Eskanye Gainasi in the Seneca language. These are earth songs. It goes all the way back to the time of creation story, when the sky woman fell from the sky and she was placed on the back of a turtle. And that turtle was called North America, and she did this dance counterclockwise. The turtle's back has grown into North America, and this is what we call the women's shuffle dance. I just want to give a big Yahweh and acknowledgement for I'm very honored to be able to come here with to be able to sing and dance with our dancers, and you know, to carry on the culture and singing and dancing.
Now I would like to introduce this year's keynote speaker. She is the president of New York State Association for Bilingual Education, Miss Alicia Baez Barinas. Alicia has been a member of New York State Association for Bilingual Education for more than 18 years and is proud to follow in her father's footsteps, past President David Baez, from 1991 to 1992. She also serves in various statewide coalitions and has recently been voted in as Regional Director for the New York State Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents.
Good morning, and thank you so much for that introduction. I want to begin by thanking the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York for this invitation this morning, for allowing me to be here to share some words with you. And I can't thank our colleagues and our sponsors and our partners enough for being here and for just being familia and locking arms with us in this work, because it's so important. We can't do this in isolation, and we can't do it alone. So thank you. Gracias. When I thought about the theme for the breakfast, right, Esperanza, a celebration of Hispanic heritage and hope, I thought it was so fitting given that we're also celebrating the 10th birthday, if you will, of the Hispanic Heritage Council and all the work that they've done. And I promise that I'll circle back to that in a moment. But just that word hope and what does it mean? So I looked it up to see what the definition is. And it says that hope is an optimistic state of mind that is based on an expectation of positive outcomes with respect to events and circumstances in one's life or the world at large. And I would even dare to say that it's more than just a state of mind. Hope is something that lives in our hearts, it lives in our souls. We feel it, which is why hope is a verb. Hope, the word hope is not a noun, it's not a thing, it's not stagnant, it's real, it's living, it's breathing, and it's something that we feel. And it should be something that we're planting in the hearts of one another and in the hearts of our children and in the hearts of our community. The other thing I thought about when I saw the theme, and that word Esperanza always brings me to this. And as an educator, I can't help myself, but I immediately think about books and schools and our children. And one of the things that I thought about was a book called Esperanza Rising, written by Pam Munoz Ryan. And it's a book that many of you may be familiar with. You may have read it yourselves. It is part of the curriculum for our students, so many of our children have also read it. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's the story of a girl named Esperanza and her family and the journey that they had to make from Mexico to the United States. And it's a unique story. It's not what you might think right off the bat. And again, I don't want to give too much away, but I would encourage you to read it, because what you learn is that they had to have resilience. They had to have strength to face what they were going through. They faced adversity. They faced challenges. They faced being devalued and being made fun of. And it was not easy for them. And what's also amazing is that this author does it through the lens of a child. And so it gives us a different perspective as well in terms of what many of our children face, no matter where they're coming from, whether it's a different country or a different city, but they're facing these adversities that sometimes we are blind to and we don't acknowledge. And sometimes it's not because we don't want to, right? But we have these systems in place that don't always allow us to kind of look and see what's really right in front of us. I say that because this book is full of so many good quotes that I could share with you this morning. And I am going to share a few as I share, as I speak to you this morning, but I want to start with one. And it made me think about Buffalo, and it made me think about our Latino community, our Hispanic community. And just to give you some background, we have Esperanza sharing a very special, quiet moment with her abuelo, with her grandfather. And he says to her, "Our land is alive, Esperanza. This whole valley breathes and lives." He picked up a handful of earth and studied it. "Did you know that when you lie down on the land, you can feel it breathe? That you can feel its heart beating?" Just think about that for a moment. That is what's happening here. Our community has a heartbeat, and it's so important that we continue to foster that and let it breathe and give it life. So many times we're faced with challenges and barriers, and it can become discouraging, especially given what we've all been through in the past year and a half with the pandemic. But even before that, right, we've been dealing with inequities. And notice I'm saying inequities. I'm not speaking to equality because that is different. There's a difference between equality and equity. And so we've faced inequities. But if we look at the positive side, what this recent event, this global pandemic has done is it's put a light on these inequities that exist. And it forced many of us to have to deal with them and look at it right in the eye. But what I want to encourage everyone this morning to do is to not forget. Because as we go into this next phase, it can become very easy to be passive because this isn't easy work. It's hard. It's hard. But I want to encourage you to continue to hang on and to fight, because these struggles have been around even long before many of us have gotten here. And it's so important to remember that work. I mean, we're fighting the same battles that they've been fighting for years. That shows you that this is a systemic problem. This is a social justice issue. It's a fight that we've been fighting for years, and we can't let up. We learn from our challenges. We learn from our struggles, right? They are representative of opportunities to diversify, to innovate, to grow, to pull together, to show our resiliency. And so that is where hope begins. That's where we foster it. That's where we continue to hold each other up. And I want to encourage you to continue to do that. Don't stop the fight. Don't stop the work. It is so, so very important. I believe that we're warriors in this work, right? And I think about the Tainos. I can't help but go there in my mind, but we're warriors, right? When we talk about the Latino and the Hispanic community, we're one of the fastest growing populations in this country. And we know that, and it's imperative that we address the challenges that the community faces. It's been well documented that the Latino community, the Hispanic community, communities of color, we're facing significant disparities in healthcare and education and in economic indicators. So it's crucial that our local and our national leaders put into place policy and solutions to address these inequities, right? The Latino community, the Hispanic community is becoming increasingly important. We are here, presente, we're not going anywhere, right? But we're important to the economy, to the culture, to the politics of the United States. Think about what's happening around us. We're here, we have a voice. Today, more than 55 million people, almost 1/5 of the United States population, are reaching new heights in education attainment, making significant and economic gains, dramatically changing the political landscape. And the Latino and the Hispanic community, we are fighting. We are using our voices. It's happening. The hope is there. Don't lose that. And while I am speaking through a national lens, we can drill right down to our own backyard and think about the Buffalo community. Think about what has happened, how we're growing, how things are shifting and moving in the past several years. And that is so very important. I think about another quote from Esperanza Rising. And this one comes to us from Abuelita. And she's talking to Esperanza and she says, "We are like the phoenix, rising again with a new life ahead of us." That is where we are. And so I want to thank the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York for all that you've done. And just to name a few things, things that I have personally also been a part of, but you have taken Hispanic Heritage Month and put together an amazing calendar of events that are inclusive, right? So that way we can all learn from each other. It's so important that we don't exclude other members of our community. So we welcome them in. And you do that. You give us a place to be able to showcase and model that love and our pride for our culture and for our language. So I can't thank you enough for that. And even though we should be celebrating our culture and our diversity every single day of the year, and we can't confine ourselves to a month, but I thank you for that and for giving this community a place to celebrate. I can't say enough. So thank you so much for that. The work that you did with Hurricane Maria and the love, the sacrifice that went in for our beloved island of Puerto Rico. Thank you. With that came the teachers from Puerto Rico, and what you helped the Buffalo Public Schools do was amazing work. So many of you personally gave your home. You opened the doors of your home to these teachers and provided them the resources they needed, and the collaboration that we've been able to have with Dr. Colon at Buffalo State College. I can't thank you enough. And I can personally tell you, as the director of bilingual education, it is an honor to walk into these classrooms and see these teachers working with our students, giving them hope in that esperanza, giving these students the opportunity to see teachers and hear teachers that look like them. Many of our families and teachers experienced Maria, and yet they had a teacher that understood what they were going through and could speak to that. So thank you for that. El Día del Niño, the work that you do also again with our schools, thank you. It's amazing. I can personally tell you that a couple of years ago, I was able to share a story about a flamboyant tree in a classroom, and I read it in Spanish. And to see this one little girl, her eyes lit up as she was able to share about a flamboyant that she had in her backyard in Puerto Rico, and how excited she was to be able to share that. But to see that light in her eyes go on, I can't tell you what that means and what it meant to me personally. Avenida San Juan and the amazing work that's happening there, the revitalization, the Borinquenier Monument dedication, that beautiful mural in Niagara Street. I mean, there's multiple murals. I know there's one coming, but from one home to another, beautiful. You have done amazing work. You continually work to plant seeds of hope in our community, in our city and beyond. I can't tell you what it means to have your support at the table when it comes to policy, when it comes to government, when it comes to our schools. You are there. You are holding everyone accountable. And that's what we need to do in a loving, professional way, but you get the work done. And I just thank you. Thank you. We talk about esperanza and we talk about hope, right? And so what does that look like? I'm going to share one more quote with you. The needle rocked awkwardly, and at the end of her beginning rows, Isabel held up her work to show Esperanza. Mine is all crooked. Esperanza smiled and reached over and gently pulled the yarn, unraveling the uneven stitches. Then she looked into Isabel's trusting eyes and said, "Don't ever be afraid. Don't ever be afraid to use your voice even when it shakes, to stand up for what we believe in, to advocate for our community, for each other, for our children." And how do we do that, right? How do we continue to move this work? Be purposeful, be explicit. We can't just talk the talk. We need to walk the walk. So many of us and so many that are here with us this morning sacrifice time and energy and time with their families, but they do it because this is important work. And there's a love and there's a passion there, right? And we can't stop that. Equity, equal access, social justice, fighting these systemic battles. We can't stop. Right? What is cultural diversity? What is language diversity? That's how we give equal access. Why are we constantly not putting their first languages, right, as a priority? We also need to take that into account. It's so important. Language is part of identity. It's part of culture. So that's another part that we can't forget about, right? Real change and growth. Those are the things that we need to look to. Those are the things that are going to plant seeds of hope and of esperanza. Thank you again for being with us this morning. You all give me hope to continue to push forward. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ricardo Seb. I'm the founder and director of the Hispanic Heritage Council's Guitar Initiative, and I'm very excited to be here with you to tell you a little bit about what we have in store for our community in this coming year. So, what do we do at the Guitar Initiative? We bring music to our community through a series of different programs. And perhaps the most important program that we have are the free classes for children. We're very proud of being offering these classes for the third year in a row, as we were able to continue providing these classes uninterruptedly throughout the pandemic. We were able to move all our classes online, and now in September, we will be going back to in-person classes following all CDC guidelines at the Isaías González Soto Public Library. This year, we will be providing 2 classes. We will continue with our free guitar classes, while we will be adding a new class that will be the Recycled Material Instrument Workshop. In our guitar classes, our students receive the best musical education available. They learn not only how to play the guitar, but they learn about music literacy, music theory, arts appreciation, and they are exposed to multiple genres and multiple artists that come to perform for our kids. Who better to tell you about what we cover in our classes than our very own instructor, Con Sullivan.
Hello, my name is Con Sullivan, and I teach the guitar class for the Hispanic Heritage Council Guitar Initiative. I've been teaching the class since the beginning of the program, and it's really been a great experience. I think what I enjoy most about the program, and part of what makes it special, is the emphasis on community. It starts in our class, where students are able to meet new people and build relationships through the shared purpose of making music. And then they're eventually able to take what they've learned and share it with their friends and family and the greater community as a whole. All the while, we're learning about guitar technique, playing notes and chords, elements of music theory like how to read music, singing and listening skills, understanding rhythm, and how to play with others in ensemble. It's really a lot of fun, and I'm very glad to be a part of it. And for anyone watching, if this sounds interesting to you, then hopefully I'll see you in my class someday.
Before I started the classes, I did not know anything about music or instruments. But in the 2 years of the classes, I have learned about how to play guitar, how to read music, and how to write music.
Yeah, like Manvir said, we did not know anything about music, like testing notes and stuff. But ever since he joined the classes, there were 2 major things that happened in our house. One is that he learned music, of course, he was taking classes. But we as a family came together to listen, because whatever he would learn in the class, he would come home and then would practice and recite. And that has all of us developed a taste in music, actually. I even didn't know Ode to Joy. I remember the first day you were asking me to write it, and I didn't even know what it sounded like. So for every one of us, it made an impact. I myself started enjoying guitar recitals first day. I just listened to songs earlier, but now music has its own meaning, which is very profound, I think.
As I mentioned before, we're very excited to be introducing a new class to our classes, that is the Recycled Material Instrument Workshop. This is a very exciting class that merges spatial and manual abilities with science, physics, music, and art. Students in this class will learn how to build actual musical instruments in which they can actually play music with recycled material. And to talk to us a little bit more about this class, our very own instructor, Daniel Yost.
I'm Daniel Yost. I'm from Argentina. I am a luthier. Luthier is make instruments, historical plucked instrument, like Renaissance guitars, Baroque guitars, lute. In this moment I make the tiorbo. Tiorbo is a very big instrument in the lute families. In the workshop, I teach children to make musical instruments with recycled material, like this Appalachian canyo. Children can play the instrument. I teach to make an instrument and I teach to play instrument. It's a very, very exciting experience.
Besides our classes, we also have our international concert series. In this concert series, we bring some of the best musicians in the world to perform here in Buffalo, and all our concerts are entirely free and open to the public. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, our first season was postponed, but we will be announcing the calendar for our next season in the coming months, so please stay posted. If you have any questions about any of our programs or concerts, please send an email to the address below. Thank you so much, and hope to see you all in our concerts and programs soon.
Eso es así, mi gente. Gracias a todos por haber asistido a este Virtual Breakfast. Y no se olviden, DJ Frankie, estamos con ustedes. Gracias a todos y por supuesto sigan escuchando y para más información en eventos coming up. Dios me lo bendiga a todos. Lindo día y desayuno. Espero de todo sabroso. Con ustedes, hasta luego.
I'd like to congratulate all the award recipients. Each award recipient has done phenomenal things in our community, and it's because of them that HAC has been able to thrive in the last 10 years. So I'd like to congratulate them and thank them for their public service to the community.
The Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York is proud to present several Friend of Hispanic Heritage Awards today. They will be given to organizations and individuals who, through words and actions, exemplify and support the mission of the Hispanic Heritage Council to foster and inspire awareness, understanding, and appreciation of past, present, and future contributions of the Hispanic community in Western New York. Recipients of these awards contribute significantly to the rich cultural heritage of Western New York. The value of collaboration recipient is Los Artistas del Barrio. This organization exhibits, promotes, and supports Latino and Hispanic artists of all genres located in and connected to Buffalo and Western New York. Los Artistas del Barrio Buffalo's mission is to function as an arts collective that highlights the talents and creativity of Latino and Hispanic artists of every discipline in our community. The Value of Inspiration recipient is Lucy Candelario, Executive Director of the Erie Regional Housing Development Corporation at the Bell Center. The Bell Center is one of the largest all-encompassing human service agencies located on the Lower West Side of Buffalo at 104 Maryland Street. Lucy has nearly 30 years of knowledge and expertise in the nonprofit industry, which includes her time as past Executive Director of West Side Community Services. The Value of Education recipient is Dr. Fatima Morel, Associate Superintendent of Buffalo Public Schools. Dr. Morel leads the Buffalo Public Schools' culturally and linguistically responsive initiatives. She has been instrumental in the development of curriculum on Puerto Rico history and culture that will be introduced in the upcoming school year in September. The Value of Leading by Example recipient is the Hispanic American Veterans Memorial Monument Committee. This committee is a group of progressive and caring Latino veterans who planned and erected a memorial monument as a tribute for all the sacrifices that Hispanic veterans of Western New York have sustained. This monument sits at the Buffalo and Erie County Naval and Military Park. The Value of Representation recipient is Carol J. Sampson, Community Relations Representative for the New York Power Authority, and the liaison for the Western New York region regarding the Power Authority funded projects and opportunities. In 2013, Carol was instrumental in working with HHC to bring diverse Hispanic cultural programming to Buffalo Canalside at the waterfront. The Value of Awareness recipient is Tim Clark, Film Commissioner for the Western region of New York State, including the cities of Buffalo and Niagara Falls. Tim is responsible for marketing the region to the worldwide film, television, and commercial production industry. In 2014, Tim, in collaboration with HHC, organized one of the leading national Hispanic networks, Univision, in broadcasting to the world their morning show, Despierta America, Wake Up America, from the observation deck in Niagara Falls, New York. The Value of Future Focus recipient is Jamie Warren, Head of Human Resources for the Buffalo Public Schools in 2016. In April of 2017 and 2018, she traveled to Puerto Rico to recruit bilingual teachers to provide instruction in the 6 bilingual schools in Buffalo. With the collaboration of the Buffalo community, those teachers recruited are still working and living in Buffalo. The Value of Character recipient is the Hispanic Women's League. The mission of the Hispanic Women's League is to improve the quality of life, assist in the personal and professional development, and advocate for the concerns of Hispanic women. The primary commitment of the Hispanic Women's League is to provide scholarships to women of Hispanic descent for the attainment of higher education. In addition, the League performs and participates in numerous community services and fundraising efforts, and makes contributions specifically geared to address the unique concerns of the Hispanic women and the Latino community. The President's Award recipient is Casimiro Rodriguez, HHC's founder and President Emeritus. Casimiro has given over 10 years of unwavering service to the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York and has been a catalyst for revival and progress, bringing people of different faiths and races together for a common goal. He has been a worthy steward of the public trust in steering the Hispanic Heritage Council on a positive course for over 10 years and leaving it well prepared for the future. Under the direction of his leadership, the Hispanic Heritage District has been transformed by $300,000 in renovations, physical improvements, and beautification projects that have touched the City of Buffalo's residents. In addition, he has contributed generously of his many talents, time, and energy to countless community and council projects, including the Bring Us Your History project. And he has advocated for many worthy causes on behalf of both the council and the Western New York community.
Dicen la negra Martina que brinca por los palacios, cayó dentro de una olla de bandazo entre las mallas. De bandazo va ella, de bandazo anda ella, de bandazo. Ay, que de bandazo. bandazo. Se pasaba todo el día buscando busca en palacio a ver si alguien la quería, pero todo fue un fracaso. Ay, que de bandazo, la negra Martina cayó en la malla de bandazo. Pues toditos la recuerdan cuando resbaló en palacio, cuando se cayó en la olla, en la malla paso a paso. De bandazo va ella, de bandazo. De bandazo anda ella, de bandazo. Ay, que de bandazo, la negra Martina cayó en la malla de bandazo. De bandazo va ella, de bandazo. De bandazo anda ella, de bandazo. Se pasaba todo el día buscando busca en palacio a ver si alguien la quería, pero todo fue un fracaso. De bandazo va ella, de bandazo. Otra. De bandazo anda ella, de bandazo. De bandazo va ella, de bandazo. De bandazo va ella, de bandazo. Estuvo a la defensiva y no se dejó matar. Es que la negra Martina era brava de verdad.
A la línea no voy, mamá. A la línea no voy, papá. A la línea no voy, mamá. Que yo soy mucho y me quieren pegar. A la línea no voy, mamá. A la línea no voy, papá. A la línea no voy, mamá. Que yo soy mucho y me quieren pegar. Ay, yo pasé por la Gran Fini y el pañuelo se me voló. Ay, yo le hablo en español para que todos me entiendan bien. Ellos son muchos y me quieren pegar. Ellos son muchos y me quieren pegar. Ellos son muchos y me quieren pegar. Allá a la línea no voy, mamá. A la línea no voy, mamá. A la línea no voy, papá. A la línea no voy, mamá. A la línea no voy, mamá. A la línea Ay, bailame esa bomba hasta la madrugada. Repícame la bomba al golpe calinda. Mamá, cuídame a Belén, mamá. Cuídame a Belén, mamá. Que yo vine aquí a cantar. Bomba, bomba, nada más. Aquí te lo canto ya. Ay, que me cuida Belén. Oye, qué bonito va. Ella te lo va a bailar. Cuídame a Belén, mamá. Aquí te lo canto ya. Bomba, bomba, nada más. Oye, qué bonito va. Bomba, bomba, nada más. Yo te la canto a Belén. Hombre.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ventura Colon, the president of the Hispanic American Veterans Memorial Incorporated, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the Hispanic Heritage Council for this great award given to us. And we feel humble and honored to get this award. And I want to present some of our members who are with me here today. Georgie Rodriguez, Edwin Sanchez, Benny Rodriguez, and Johnny Sanabria. Wilmer Olivencia and Victor Torres and Gino Rusi could not be here with us. Again, I want to thank the council for this award, and we are grateful for that. We will continue to do our work in the community as we always did, in support first of our Hispanic veterans and the community of Western New York. Thank you.
As we approach the end of our 8th annual community breakfast, we would like to formally induct our newest members to the council. And they are Jose Luis Perez, Carol Melendez, and Kelly Hernandez. Thank you for becoming members. And now, with closing remarks, the Emeritus President and founder of the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York, Casimiro Rodriguez.
2020 was a challenging year for all of us, for the non-for-profits and for our project. The Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute experienced delays, but we were able, as an organization and with our consultants, we were able to accomplish many things. First and foremost, we were able to complete our business plan, our business and sustainability plan. We were able to acquire land and gain title to many of the parcels that will be part of the Institute's footprint. And also, we were able to complete the environmental studies by our consultants, giving us a clean bill of health to be able to build on these premises. So our main focus going forward will be the capital campaign, led by our chairman, Manny Lazama. We've been able to adjust our timetable, putting us well into 2024, putting our focus in the months ahead to raise the much needed funds of the $10 million that we need to be able to construct what will be a landmark in the heart of our community here on Avenida San Juan, the Hispanic Heritage District. So we encourage folks from private and public sector, corporations, and government to help us raise and add to the funds that we've already been able to raise to complete this project by the revised time schedule of 2024. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors because without them we would not be able to bring to you today virtually the 8th annual Hispanic Heritage Community Breakfast. And we hope that in the future, next year, we're able to celebrate in a place where we can see one another and fellowship with one another, celebrating our accomplishments from not only the past, present, but also the future. Thank you, everyone.
On behalf of the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York, thank you for your support in our breakfast and our mission. Gracias, goodbye. Take it away, DJ Frankie.
Bueno, con esto damos final a este breakfast virtual, mi gente. Traído por ustedes por el Hispanic Heritage Council. Y el Board of Directors, vamos a mencionar, es Esmeralda Sierra, presidente, Marisa Vega, Vice President, Felipe Martínez, tesorero, Elda Pichardo, secretaria, Casimiro Rodríguez, Emeritus President y el Founder. Board of Directors son John Sanabria, Sr., José Luis Pérez, Carlos Meréndez, Kelly Hernández, Ricardo Saeb. Espero que hayan disfrutado como yo he disfrutado y como todos nosotros virtualmente disfrutamos. Gracias a ustedes. Stay tuned. Y hasta la próxima, ¿ok? DJ Frankie contigo. Siga.